my life on the regular, ayy. But the attacks are perpetual, ayy. Forbidden fruit seems so edible, ayy. You try resist like elliptical strain. My mama told me it's spiritual, ayy. So I'm under armor like I'm Curry, look. You cannot bear with the boy, yeah. This is not the jungle book. Accuse me, no he would. I just covered by the blood. Thinking about the way that they did you serving like Valentine's Day, sick with the mission, cross with the finish. Don't try to slide in my DM. OJ Simpson with the defense. Leg of fire saying knee in last weekend, but not today, say.
Hey, what's up, everybody? We are back. We missed Wednesday, but we are back with another weekly live stream.
The devil, ayy. I think I know where he live, ayy. I think he in politics, ayy. I think you getting my drift, ayy. Yeah, I think he made the Explore page. I seen him at my last court date. I'm asking Lord, give me more faith. It's cold in these streets like a North Face, ayy. Gotta keep my.
All right, let's stop that. Hey, everybody. Welcome to a new week. We are back with another live stream. Yeah, so did you guys see the new video I posted? There's a video about making friends. I don't know, did you see that? How was that? So I made 3 points about just how to make friends. And I didn't really talk about why friends are important. I feel like that's, yeah, we know like friends are important. Friends are good to have, especially good friends. Like having a community, having friends. But I think, yeah, like how to make friends, you know, statistics, they all say like we're in the loneliest time. And like, yeah, we're the most connected we've ever been. But at the same time, we're so disconnected. I saw was it like a statistic? No, not a statistic. What is that? Like a podcast. I saw a podcast. This guy was talking and he was explaining why like Instagram, why YouTube, why all these like social media like invoke a feeling of loneliness rather than like connection. Like we're all sharing things, right? But actually what he explained made a lot of sense. So what he said was that when you look at Instagram feed, what are people posting? They're posting very like good moments of their life. They're sharing moments of them, of, you know, something, right? Like let's say a birthday party, and everyone that you follow has a birthday party some days, right? But that's what they're posting. That's what that's what you're seeing on your Instagram feed. When you're scrolling, you're seeing, wow, like someone's having a great time. Oh, someone else is having a good time. Someone's in vacation in Greece. Look at that view. I don't know. Yes, things like that, right? And that's all we see. And like that invokes a sense of loneliness, like a fear of missing out, FOMO, because it's like, oh, that's, you know, this person's life is so good. And that invokes feelings of feeling left out, feeling lonely, feeling comparing ourselves. And it's just like it lowers self-esteem so easily, right? People take selfies, looking the best that they can. You know, of course, choosing the best photo that looks the best, editing the colors to make it pop, and what do you know? You have a really good looking photo. Someone who looks really good in that photo, right? And that's all you see of them. You don't see the times when they don't look the great. You know, everyone looks, yeah, you get what I'm saying. So through that like lens, it really makes sense why like Instagram is actually like, it connects us, but it actually doesn't show the whole picture, and it just shows the best of people, right? Or the worst. There's a lot of videos that just, you know, show the worst of other people, right? Like, let's hate on this person. Let's, you know, this person might have been through the worst, like one of the worst days of their life, and they're just like in a really bad mood, and they got caught in a bad situation, being probably pretty annoyed, and then, you know, what do you know? They act like an a-hole, and you know, it's just like, yeah, it doesn't justify any behaviors, but it does, you know, explain it. Oh man, this person probably went through a lot of crap that day. It just it sucks because, you know, we only see a certain part in a lot of and through social media. We only see a part of people, and it invokes a lot of loneliness. So I don't know. I just thought I wanted to share that. That was just something I wanted to talk about. Hey, I got a package today. You wanna open it together with me? Let's do it. So it's Japan has the same outlets as America, except America has like a lot of the times a grounding outlet. So like it's got three, it's got three prongs, right? It's the two line things and then the one middle one. A lot of things have that. And so I brought my laptop from America, but I can't plug it in anywhere because it's got three prongs, and Japan only has two. It's only two. There's no third one. So I got this. Look at that. Check this out. And so this plugs into the battery. Yeah, I just bought a power strip that has two prongs, but then all the holes are three holes. That makes sense? Anyway, so this I can anyway, I'll just use the one that I have at home, but this is really nice because today I went to the cafe and my computer almost died. It was nice to work in the cafe, but holy salted this, absolutely, yes. It came in the mail, so we holy salt that. Check that out. Anyway, see, two. It's kind of weird. And then three, and then this is the part that goes in the battery. Nice. It's really short too. Actually, I kind of like that. Yeah. So anyway, talking about like being only seeing certain parts of people's lives, see and it's like seeing only a certain part. I was just thinking about like, yeah, this is a lonely time we're in, and I think genuine connection is kind of hard to come by lately, some of these days, and it's really hard. I think when you think about like the people who like really need like connection, and like the most troubled people out there. Yeah, I think like anyway, I saw this podcast recently. I think that's why like it's so much in my head. But if you guys know Healthy Gamer, Dr. K, he's been doing a lot of podcasts recently. But yeah, he's like someone who helps a lot of internet guys and like internet dudes and gals, those like those like that demographic that's usually on the internet, kind of starving for a relationship. So anyway, he's a certified professional doctoral guy, anyway. So he's got that, and he helps a lot of people. And I watched a podcast that he was on with a comedian and some of his friends. And I just have to say, it was probably one of the better podcasts. I just really enjoy the way this guy talks and the way he articulates just his thinking and his like just his observations and he's got such an empathetic like mindset. Like really nobody is like too far gone and everyone deserves saving. It's really beautiful. I think it's like essence of like grace and really understanding why people act the way they do. Yeah, but anyway, maybe I'm just influenced by a lot of people. I have to to kind of solidify that. So the topic for today, if you're sticking around here, is in the prime of your life. That's the time to learn and grow. So, me being the director of High Noon High School, I wanted to talk about what it means to be a high schooler and to be in your adolescence and this time. So I've been really actually struggling recently because, right, at High Noon, we're going into a new quarter and we're making new goals as like an organization, as chapters, and it's just this is the first quarter that I'm like leading High Noon High School, like full quarter. So like what happened in the past, kind of just like things I've been trying out, researching, and just kind of trying new things. And I really like doing, actually, I really like doing the live stream. And it's just something I really enjoy. But one point that I've just been struggling is what I've been struggling with, and really what I need your help in is figuring out exactly like how I can help high schoolers. Now, we did a survey, and I go back to it kind of a lot, but the pain points that most high schoolers are going through, and actually it's not even like just high schoolers, it's a lot of people, right? It's how to manage stress, how to manage any difficult or challenging emotions. There's just challenging relationships that are difficult to manage, and negative habits, and like doom scrolling, phone addiction, game addiction, porn addiction, in all shapes and sizes too. It's not just like, not like super heavy in some cases, just like it's an unwanted behavior kind of thing. So I'm just like thinking, gosh, what is a way that I can help high schoolers? And I was thinking, okay, I think one frame of mind that I can do is think about my own high school experience, and I think what kind of help helped me, and what kind of help I wish I had when I was in high school. And feel free to comment. I'm looking at the comments, Instagram, and YouTube as well. So maybe I should do it on Twitch too. But anyway, I was thinking, like the kind of help, I think it wouldn't just be like purely education. I think if I had like a role model and some kind of like person to kind of guide me like more consistently. But I grew up in a community that was really small, like a church community that was really small. It was like 4 or 5 families, Cleveland, Ohio. And it was a very close-knit group. I think more so for my brothers than for me, just because like the other family had the same age kids as my older siblings. And my older siblings, if you don't know, are quite considerably older than I am. So the age gap is 10 years. So anyway, I think I was always like I was a baby. I was the kid who needed to be taken care of, more than like hanging out together and having fun. But I will say once, what am I saying? Anyway, okay, let me backtrack a little bit. So that was the kind of community I grew up in. And I mean, I really appreciate the uncles, my dad, uncles and the aunties. And there was a lot of like, it was a really personal community. It was really small. And like, if there was any problems, like it had to be dealt with kind of thing. Don't really, hold on, let me think. What was I talking about? Okay, high school. So this is all connected. That was the type of community I had. So I didn't really have any like, I had my older brothers, but I never really kind of went to them for like internal advice. I think I went to them for like external advice, but I can't recall any like deep talks with them. And what was really, I don't know. I think occasionally, actually, no, I do remember like one deep talk that I don't remember what we talked about. I just remember it was with my older brother, and we were walking on the beach at night. And so it was just a summer tradition. There's like a secret entrance that, our community are small, my siblings and their friends they can sneak into the beach at night. And it was like super cool. Like there's no like, it's just they build a fire and they're super chill. But I just remember walking on the beach with my brother, and we had a really deep talk. And I was like I was like maybe, I don't know, dude. I was still in elementary school for sure. But no, I don't remember. Huh. Anyway, I got a lot of advice from them, from like getting like a certain style, like they bought me clothes and then like kind of set me up for middle school. And I remember that, and I remember like that actually boosted my confidence a lot. And I was just thinking that is so important to have someone there for you, like an older brother, a mentor, or somebody to kind of take care of you, to show you the ropes, to figure out life. And it's not just like in style or in confidence, but I think, yeah, because they really hyped me up. They're like, Seiji, you look so good. Like this is what works for you, man. And that actually built me up a lot. Like, yeah. And then we worked out together too, because I was a chubby kid. They kind of helped me be accountable, because they were also working out and were really fit. And I think like that also, geez, actually, I had some really good role models in my life. I'm really grateful. But what am I saying? So yeah, I was just I'm really grateful for that. And like it didn't stop there. Like with camps, I think I was very much taught how to see the good in people. And so like there's a lot of situations, I'm sure, like, yeah, things can't be, completely drama free, right? There's always some kind of drama or some kind of just, crap that happens. And I was actually really lucky to be kind of raised up in an environment and encouraged enough to see like the positives in people. And so like whenever someone gives me advice, it's like only the good stuff kind of comes in, and I'll think for myself. I'll be like, yeah, that's probably some good advice, or that's probably something that I wouldn't really agree with, and then see why. But yeah, I think like high school, especially high school, was a time when all my siblings moved out of the house. Camps were, I think I was like a little bit more, I was enjoying the camps, like summer camp, winter workshops, but I wasn't like necessarily close to any of the older brothers or sisters. I wasn't really close to anybody older than me. I didn't really like kind of trust, like have a deep trust. And what really kind of sticks out to me now that I'm talking about that is I think like high school tends to be a pretty stressful time. There's a lot of new responsibilities. I was one of those kids that was always like naturally good at like school. I just kind of understood concepts really well. But then high school hit, and I didn't develop any really like good study habits at all. So what ended up happening was I felt like overwhelmed and pressured, and like, yeah, there were some subjects I was good at, but like, it still required me to study outside of class, and I just didn't create those habits, and so I didn't get good at it. And so for a period of time, my grades kind of suffered because of that. It was like AP World History and calculus. Anyway, I did not study for those classes, and so like because I didn't develop those habits. And I think that goes for any kind of behaviors, right? I think during that time, if I had some kind of mentor and some kind of guide to help me, to show me the ropes, and to really like stick it with me, like, and hold me accountable, help me understand what my goals are, and develop like a more like structured lifestyle, because like, I'm gonna have to eventually do it eventually, right? Everybody is going to have to eventually learn how to do it. I think it's just like, yeah, the importance of mentors, so important. Well, maybe that's what I can do, provide mentorship in some way. Now, I'm not perfect by any means. I have a lot of flaws and a lot of problems that I don't know how to handle or deal with. But I can say that I've grown a lot. I've even surprised myself with some situations that happened that could have easily like caused me to panic or stress out. Sorry, I dropped my pen. I'm just spinning in my hand. But yeah, I've surprised myself the way I've just kind of handled it. Like, now is not the time to panic. I just gotta do it. One instance comes to mind. So I was leading a team on GPA, and so this was after I did my 2 years of GPA, and I was coming back as a volunteer, paid volunteer. I should maybe mention that, but anyway, yeah. For the incoming second years, to learn and to go through Chunuguk CIG training, Chunuguk missionary training. And so, yeah, it was like fundraising training. It was a fundraising condition. And so what happened was, yeah, we had a hotel night. Everyone took a shower. It was great. And then the next morning, one of the third years, who was on my team, had to take a train to join the third years. I think he came late or something. And so that's why he joined. He was on my team for a little bit. But yeah, we were at the hotel, and yeah, we had to kind of, get started. And every morning there's a routine for captains to do daily maintenance, to do basic maintenance on the cars, just to check the tire pressure, make sure everything's good, check the oil, check the coolant, the brake fluid, make sure everything's good, right? Just kind of basic checkup. And so, yeah, one of our tires was flat. It was flat completely. And yeah, it was a big issue because it was pretty, yeah, it was like the morning was kind of a rush, and I had no time to panic. And so what I did was, like, I kind of prioritized, because I needed to drop off the members. I needed to, to go on their fundraising run. I needed to drop off the third year to go join the other third years. So I needed to drop him off at the train station. And so there's a lot to do that morning, and I had no time to kind of waste, right? So what ended up happening was, earlier that summer, my friend had a tire go out while he was driving. And what ended up happening is he waited 4 hours for AAA to come up, and then AAA tried to change his tire from his spare tire, but the spare tire was flat because he never filled it up in years and years that he's had the car. He never filled up his spare tire. And so it ended up being an even longer wait for him because they had to tow his car, and so it was just a whole mess. And so because I heard that story, and because I knew the problem solving that I needed to do, first, I made sure that the van that we were using had the tools for me to replace the tire. So it did. So it had the tire jack, it had yeah, the wrench, and it had everything, right? But because of the spare tire incident my friend had, I checked the spare tire's air pressure, and guess what? It was low. It was pretty much empty. The only reason why it looked flat is because there's no weight on it. And so what was really lucky, was there was across the street, there was a gas station, and it had air, and you had to pay for the air. And so I did what I knew how to do because of GPA. I fundraised. And so, but it's good because we had petty cash, and so it wasn't even that hard. But basically I just said, hey, can I exchange this dollar for quarters? Okay, it wasn't even that hard, right? But I rolled the tire across the street. I filled it up with air, proper tire pressure, and then I rolled it back, and then it was done within like 20 minutes. I assessed the problem. I made the members, like, oh, we're not leaving yet. I'll just take time out of, morning service. So, and then I adjusted the schedule. I made sure, I just kind of said, hey, you guys can go DP study because I need to handle this problem. And then, yeah, everything worked out so smoothly, and everyone got to where they needed to be on time. And what was just amazing to me, like, in that story, was just, like, I didn't panic. It was really good. Kind of, I think, looking back on it, I was really proud of the way that I handled it. Like, wow, that I grew. I think in the past I just would have panicked, and I wouldn't have known what to do, but, like, I took responsibility for it, and I just did it. And, like, I felt really empowered by that. And like, I think everyone should have that kind of experience. To, one, realize how much they've grown, and two, just, like, take ownership, take responsibility. Like, maybe it was my fault, maybe it wasn't my fault. I was the driver. Maybe I ran over something that popped the tire, sure. Maybe, I could blame somebody, whoever littered on the ground or had that nail in the ground or whatever. But no, I didn't have time to blame anyone. So I just said, okay, I gotta take care of this issue, and then I did it. And I was just thinking, like, if that lesson or if that like opportunity comes for people, like at an earlier stage, like, because I was 22 when I learned that. And yeah, everyone should learn how to change a tire, but I think more deeper than that, I think everyone should kind of gain the confidence to take ownership of a problem, whether they caused it or not, and yeah, take ownership and take responsibility and fix it, face it, do what needs to get done, and then grow and realize like just what they're capable of. I think that's like the key to like, yeah, stress, learning how to manage your stress and realize your confidence. And I can only say that like because I had those mentors in my life, and it came at a later stage. And I think when there's some kind of initiation that happens, like at an adolescent age, where like kind of responsibility needs to be taken. For example, the students who take responsibility to study, or the people who take responsibility. I don't know. I heard this story, so I'm just gonna leave it as an anecdote. But basically, like, this high schooler really hated school, and it came kind of easily for him, but he just kind of couldn't see the point. Unmotivated, not inspired at all with school. Just kind of hated it, and he was good at it, but it's like it wasn't inspiring. And then so he complained to his mom, and his mom was like, "Okay, if you don't want to go to school, just work, like, work, go get a job or something." And then her hope was like, all right, he'll realize how hard that is, and then he'll want to come back to and study in school. But her plan ended up backfiring, and what ended up happening was that he loved his job, and he actually became like obsessed with making his job more like profitable and successful. And so he became like a street vendor or something. And then he really like worked hard, and he loved it. And now it's like I don't know if it's a successful, but he really enjoyed it. He grew it, and yeah, like hasn't looked back, that kind of story. Yeah, anyway, there's a lot of stay in school, okay? Anyway, I think that happened in China. So definitely like China. What am I talking about? Yeah, anyway. Right, education is really important. Greetings. Bindodangi 2040. Thanks for saying hi. Should I have Instagram chat open somewhere? I don't know how to keep both it. Whatever. Yeah, anyway. Yeah. So in the prime of your life, that is the time to learn and grow. And learning and growing happens with a good mentor. I think about the times when like we had mentors like as a job, like everything was a craft. Like there was like not necessarily a college system. Maybe for most people, like they didn't have access to a college or to formal schooling, and so what they would do is they would be an apprentice at a certain craftsmanship. And they would start young, right? They would start at like probably 12, maybe something at that age. But I just think about like how important that is. And like I wish we had more opportunities to like have mentors and to have like, yeah, really actually my school did that. I didn't take part. I did not take part in it at all, but I think like there was seniors who volunteered to like be mentors for the freshmen. Actually, what a great system that is. Now I didn't take part in that. Actually, I don't remember exactly how that worked and if that's exactly like what happened, but I just remember there was like a period in the day where the seniors would kind of try to lead a freshman class. I think it was fun. I think it was interesting. yeah. But yeah, having mentors. So anyway, what I'm saying, and this is all like just me talking about what we can make High Noon High School to be, because this is what it is. High Noon High School. How to crack the nut. The shell, the walls that high schoolers, I guess High Noon, we haven't, there's like, like these high schoolers that are really, really in it, and we reach out to them really well. People, but yeah, I want to try to reach out to more and more. And I think I'm still so ignorant of so many things. And I think that's maybe a shame, a guilt, a frustration of mine. It's like, yeah, I think I recognize my own ignorance, and I just don't know what to do. Yeah. I recently realized that, like, I think I always knew it, but like it really hit me when, and what really hit me was people are like jealous of other people's happiness, and it's to the point of like really getting angry at the person who's happy. And I can understand it, but I think, yeah, I can understand it. Like it's probably just really painful, right? It's so easy to compare, but yeah, I think it really hit me because there's something that like, we're dealing with as a couple. It's because like, yeah, we've put in so much effort, me and my wife, we put in so much effort for the blessing, and, like High Noon has helped me so much develop as a person to like, try to face conflict and handle it well, and kind of openly talk about any issues. And like, even if there's something a little bit off, or, like we're kind of more available to talk about it. But there's a lot of cases, like just relationships that we've, that are happening here. It's, there's a lot of like unspoken things that happen, or things that happen that remain unspoken. And it just kind of lingers and develops like challenges. So like when people saw our couple, and like, yeah, we're like doing High Noon events, and so they'll see us, and we're kind of like trying to be exemplary, right? We're trying to be like, yeah, this is the kind of standard we want to live by. It's not always like this, but like this is what we want to do. But all they see is the good part, just like when we see just the good parts of Instagram. And yeah, like kind of that negative feeling is starting to kind of get attached to like our couple. Like people are feeling, there's a couple people that are close to my wife that are feeling pretty jealous, and like I don't know, I don't want to say anything. It's just like, that's just like the situation, and they won't talk to her about it. Like we heard it from somebody, and that was like kind of right, not so great. But I think what's really hurting us was like, yeah, they're really close friends of hers, and they're not talking to her about it. But also what's really hurting was like just understanding their situation. Like it must be really hard, and I just can't imagine like to like what kind of negative feelings you have to live with to kind of like look at someone who's doing pretty well for themselves, and then be jealous and angry at them. And okay, I think this is what it just kind of clicked, but like the guilt of feeling jealous towards somebody, right? Like it's a negative feeling. No one feels good about being jealous about anybody, or feeling like yeah, no one feels good about that. So like I'm pretty sure there's some kind of like really deep shame that's behind those feelings too. So I just like, yeah, yeah, we really want to talk. Like the only way to do it, only way to face it is, only way to overcome it, or only way to deal with it is to face it, right? And so like we want to talk to them about it, and it's just like kind of awkward because we heard it from someone else. Like they didn't tell us anything. Yeah, but I mean, what else are we gonna do, right? Just let it linger, kind of wait for them? I think no. Yeah, I don't think that's the best option. Yeah. Jeez, I kind of am going like full circles. But I mean, if we learn this stuff in high school, if we learn this stuff early on, like proper communication, things could be so much better, right? Parents can have better relationships with their kids. Their kids could learn and grow into like happier people who, you know, have the capacity and the means to solve like problems. Okay, I think this is the last point before I close on this live stream, but I wanted to talk about actually one thought that I had recently. So I was actually joining the night vigil prayer. This was just the other day. So we only joined Friday just because that's like the most manageable, and Friday is the biggest night vigil. So we joined the Friday night vigils, and what was going through my mind during this vigil was like, everything that's happening with True Mother, right? And just like the frustration. There's a lot of like guilt or like kind of, like we didn't do enough, kind of like feeling attitude. And I get that. And honestly, there's probably a part of me that also feels the same way. And I really love and appreciate what President Damien Dunkley says about like how we don't have time to just feel like shameful, like, shameful or sad. Like honestly, we just have to step up, right? So anyway, that's kind of like keeping me going, and this is like why I need to get fired up. But what was really my train of thought during the night vigil last night was like, just how can we restore like the world? And I'm often, when I think of that idea and like that thought, I often go back to a lecture I heard by Reverend Kevin Thompson, the Bay Area pastor. Is he still pastor? I hope he is. He's a great guy, amazing storyteller. What an amazing speaker. And it's just like very wise and loving. I think it's just kind of, he has so many experiences with parents. He even went to prison and actually really understood Chuparent's heart. Prison for some bogus fishing thing. It was really interesting, right? But anyway, Reverend Thompson, in his lecture, he was talking about an experience he had with fishing with True Father. And what he said was, or how the story goes, he was fishing with True Father, and the boat is rocking, kind of. He's on the verge of feeling nauseous and throwing up, and actually, like, it's just coming. It's full on upheaval that's happening, and so like things are kind of cooling down, and they're waiting for a bite. They cast their lines, and they're waiting for a bite. Waiting for a fish to bite. But as they're waiting, True Father kind of motions to Kevin Thompson, says, come here. come here. As True Father's just kind of chilling. And just on the boat. Yeah, I for some reason, I imagine this huge deck, right? But it's probably much, kind of small. Looking at the pictures that, True Father's boat, it's, pretty small. But yeah, True Father motions Reverend Thompson to sit next to him. It's like, and then True Father says, do you want to know the secret to building the kingdom of heaven? And then Reverend Thompson, right? Like, he's about to, who he believes, right? Like, this is True Father. This is Second Advent. He's about to tell me the secret to building the kingdom of heaven on earth right now in this moment, right? And like, this is the most profound, like, I'm going to lock in. I'm going to remember this moment, okay? And so Reverend Thompson, he goes, or like he leans in, he listens, and then your father says, "The secret to the kingdom of heaven is love your wife and be a good daddy." And then Reverend Thompson's first initial reaction is like, "What? That's it? Like that's all we have to do?" Like that's like this is the most straightforward and simple advice. Like we've like what? That's it? But then like after reflecting on it and telling that story and really really leaning into what those words meant, that's like that's it. That's the key to building the kingdom of heaven on earth in this, yeah, little by little in this lifetime, over the next starting this lifetime over the next generations. Love your wife and be a good daddy. And that's, towards men, but for women, love your husband and be a good mommy. And I think it was just really deep. And so whenever these thoughts of like, how do we restore this world? What's coming is actually truly creating like radiant, blessed families, radiant communities. Like family is the base structure. When you have a whole bunch of connected and loving families, like naturally they'll be connected with other families, right? They'll share and they'll love. And I think, yeah, there's a lot that I want to share here right now, but I'm actually saving a lot of this type of kind of content beyond for our workshop that's exclusive to people who sign up. So if you've watched this far, and I would just want to say thank you. Please, like if you're a parent or if you're a teenager or if you're a young adult, anybody, I am hosting a workshop, 2 workshops actually. So just like the video, 2 workshops actually. It's a parents workshop, and I want to talk about a lot of different things, but basically it's not, I'm not going to teach you how to parent. I'm not a parent. I don't know, I don't know what that means. But what I do want to ask of you parents is kind of to ask for your help. And so through that workshop, I just kind of want to create a basis to connect with parents, to share like my experience as a high schooler and my experience growing up with my parents, and testimonies that I've heard from other parents that I really think would benefit other people hearing, whether if you're a parent or not. And then we have a workshop for high schoolers, for teens, and that's going to focus more on goal setting, on finding you a mentor and accountability partner. We're going to, of course, talk about high noon, sexual integrity, purity, kind of like fixing the idea of purity so that it's really filled with, grace, and we have to practice grace and honesty and courage and fill it with integrity and find accountability so that we can, create something beautiful from our lives. So that's all I want to say. Maybe I should do that at the beginning too. Hey guys, join my live stream. Yeah. Also, I think it's just a state of as given fact, but right now it is 11:46 a.m. in America, in Eastern European time, and I don't know who's has the time to listen to this, and so I think this is just my unofficial kind of putting it out there, but I think I'm gonna be changing the times for these live streams. Maybe Friday night, that might do. What do you think? Anyway, what do you think about that? So yeah, and if you're watching this far through the live stream, the video, I just want to say thank you. If you find this type of content fun and relatable, valuable, entertaining, I encourage you to like the video, subscribe to High Noon, turn on the bell notifications so that you get notifications when we go live or when we upload a new video. By the way, on YouTube, one of the reel that I uploaded, the short that I uploaded kind of flopped really bad. And but on Instagram it did really good. So maybe it's just the timing of the upload wasn't good or something. I think there's like 2 sudden like subsequent uploads that overshadowed my call to action to sign up for the workshop. So anyway, if now is a good time, I just wanted to kind of know. I need to kind of garner some kind of information here. Like, is this a good time for a live stream? Is this a good length for a live stream? I don't think many people are gonna join for a 2.5, 3 hour, 4 hour live stream. It's almost 1 a.m. for me here in Japan, and I just have to say, I could keep going. I could keep going, but I will say I'm a little tired. And honestly speaking, I'm probably being a little loud for the neighbors here. Japanese walls, they be. I know we're in a good spot. We have like concrete walls, so it's not so bad. But we do hear stomping. But we don't hear. I have not heard a single voice because the walls are not paper. We're not living in an apartment. We're living in a mansion, which is basically a fancier apartment, a mansion, which in Japan it's a fancier apartment. I see. Hey, you're the one viewer I have. Do you want to learn a fun fact? This is going to be exclusively shared during our workshop. And so I'm just going to keep this for you. I mean, it is going to stay in the recording, but you're here to witness it live. Okay, here's a fun fact. And I think it's a really beautiful fun fact. Maybe you know it. I hope you don't, and I hope you can learn something new today. So I recently learned that actually elephants have an extremely high EQ, like emotional, what does EQ stand? Like quality, anyway, like emotional intelligence, right? And one thing that they do in herds is that when a mother, or I guess a soon-to-be mother, gives birth to her baby elephant, all the elephants, I think that's all the female elephants, but like the entire herd surrounds the baby, the newborn, and they all take their trunks and stroke it and hug it and hold it, touch it. And like the behavior behind that is just so like actually beautiful, right? Because it shows this baby, right? Like you are part of this herd. You are one of us. Like, of course, as an elephant, but like you're part of this community. Like it's like a welcoming ritual that elephants do. Isn't that so interesting? Elephants do that. And so what is really interesting that I saw a video on the other day. So I knew this for a while, this fact for a while, but the really interesting part is there's an instance where there's a stillbirth. Elephant gave birth and the baby was dead. And what ended up happening was there's a lot of grieving that happened, not just with the mother. The mother would carry the corpse, the body with her, like everywhere for like for a certain period of time. And it was pretty significant. I don't remember if it was like a week or something, but it was kind of a significant amount of time. And whenever like the herd was with the mother, they would comfort the mother, and they would all remain like silent. It was like a moment of silence. They were grieving together as a herd, as a community. And I just think like that is like, that took that fact of like connection and as a community of elephants to a whole new level for me. And like what that would mean for humans to do, like for a mother to give birth, and the husband should be there, the family should be there, but like, what if the community was there to welcome the baby, to celebrate, the birth of, and then support the mother? yeah, I think that's a really beautiful kind of, I don't know, just nature's beauty and education. Yeah, I just that's is fun fact for you. Did you appreciate that? I hope you did. But yeah, I was just thinking like that would be a really awesome community, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be? Yeah. So anyway, I think about like all like the really troubled kids, like the kids that really like do outlandish things, right? Just for attention. There's this African proverb that comes to mind. I don't know when I have all this like weird facts come into my head. There's this African proverb. It goes, how does it go? Shoot, actually, hold on. I want to say it verbatim. African proverb. Okay, it goes, the child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth. Whoa. Dang, let me, oops, I just did something by accident. Okay. Yeah, that is, let me read that again. Jeez. The child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth. That is, I think I read that as a YouTube comment somewhere. Like there's this African proverb. So we think about like all the children, teens, adults who are really struggling, right? And then, the ones who will go to extremes to, of hurting other people. Just because like in their life, like they weren't able to feel connected to anything. So, yeah. Deep stuff. And, those are the kids especially, like we want to help, right? And not just high noon, not just high school, right? We all want to. And sometimes we see a part of that child in ourselves too. And we need to heal that child too. Inner child.